Good morning on what is a cool, grey and overcast day. It is Tuesday the 14th of June and I'm in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea. And a box to open. So let's find out what's in here. Find out where. Nope. Okay. Just find out where this tape. This has been taped because it's a little bit confusing. There we go. Got it. Right. Is that one coming up? Yes, it does. Well, let's see. There we go. Could I have not made that any less awkward? So what have we got in here? It's a copy of Paranoia. It is a copy of Paranoia, first edition. Let me see. Published by West End Games. Just to give a date, I'm guessing at 1984, somewhere about there. Definitely sort of early to mid 80s. So. Terminal insanity, serve the computer is your friend. The computer wants you to be happy. If you're not happy, you may be used as reactor shielding. The computer is crazy. The computer is happy. The computer will help you become happy. This will drive you crazy. Being a citizen of Alpha Complex is fun. The computer says so, and the computer is your friend. Rooting out traitors will make you happy. The computer tells you so. Can you doubt the computer? Being a troubleshooter is fun. The computer tells you so. Of course the computer is right. Troubles get shot at, stabbed, incinerated, stapled, mangled, poisoned, blown to bits, and occasionally accidentally executed. This is so much fun that many troubleshooters go crazy. You will be working with many troubleshooters. All of them carry lasers. Aren't you glad you have a laser? Won't this be fun? There are many traitors in Alpha Complex. There are many happy citizens in Alpha Complex. Most of the happy citizens are crazy. It is hard to say which is more dangerous, traitors or happy citizens. Watch out for them both. The life of a troubleshoot is full of surprises. Stay alert, trust no one, keep your laser handy. Catch-22 meets 1984. Paranoia is an adventure role-playing game set in a darkly humorous future. A well-meaning but deranged computer desperately protects citizens with an underground warren from all sorts of real and imagined traitors and enemies. You play the part of one of the computer's elite agents. Your worst fear is the computer will discover that you are one of those enemies. So includes 124-page player handbook with introductory solitaire scenario, 164-page game master handbook, one 52-page adventure handbook with complete multiplayer adventure, 2 inked 20-sided dice, game master required, players 2 to 9, playing time 1 or more hours, solitaire suitability low, complexity scale. It's okay. What's interesting, okay, is you just have a look on that little table here. It has a complexity scale of how difficult this game is to play. And if Monopoly and Junta are at the bottom, and Squad Leader is on 5, Squad Leader and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons are both on 5, and 6. There's no game like that. This game is on the same level as Kingmaker and Star Frontiers. So this did come out. What's interesting there is it come out of Star Frontiers, and it's saying that Dungeons and Dragons Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is more complex than Star Frontiers. Possibly true, although arguably I would suggest the reasons why one of the reasons why Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is more complex than Star Frontiers is because of the way it's written, not necessarily that complex a game. But we also have advice for you here on the back, which is a Roger RMX1. Please report immediately to the nearest termination centre. Thank you. And that's a message from your friendly computer. All hail the computer. The computer is your friend. So open up inside. There is no dice. But they've got the 3 books. And I believe these have been plastic covered, so it's not a perfect edition, but any copy by any means. But essentially, we do have the adventure booklet, the player booklet, and then it says with the handy advice on the back: stay alert, trust no one, keep your laser handy. And we open up, and it says here, this advice. Security clearance red. Warning, knowledge or possession of the contents by any citizen of security clearance infrared constitutes treason and is punishable by summary execution. And here we've got the introduction. So, welcome troubleshooter. Your service to the computer is rewarded. Congratulations. You are now of red security clearance. This is evidence of the computer's love and trust in you. You are assigned to your first mission with your brother troubleshooters. Beware. Traitors are everywhere. You must immediately report any treasonous behaviour or any suspicion of treasonous behaviour to the computer. Failure to do so is treason. Some of your brother troubleshooters may serve the computer as guardians of internal security. They are present for your protection. They will report any treasonous behaviours or hint of treasonous behaviour to the computer. Rejoice in the assurance that any treason among your companions will be discovered and punished. Devote your service to the computer. Your loyalty will be generously rewarded. You must fulfill your mission. The safety of your fellow troubleshooters and the security of your Alpha complex depends on you. You are assigned equipment. Give thanks for the computer's bountiful generosity. Preserve this equipment from harm or theft. Only a traitor will be careless with the computer's precious resources. Your mission may take you to unfamiliar sections of the complex. Your mission may take you outside. Be prepared. Know the enemy. Guard against treason. Serve the computer. The computer is your friend. And this is the tone of the book throughout. But essentially, and then it says essentially, friendly computer at your service. What is outside? What is your security clearance, please? Clearance, red friend. I'm sorry, they're not available at this time. So, we have classic art which people will remember from this role-playing game. But one of the things about Paranoia, it's a humorous role-playing game. One of the not necessarily the first, but one of the first. But it's a satirical role-playing game, playing upon the post-apocalyptic future, the fears of nuclear confrontation because it's after the apocalypse, fear of the outsider and difference, any divergence from the norm, and fear of communists because they're the ultimate enemy. Of course, it's a very American role-playing game in that. But at the same time, satirical and subversive because ultimately every troubleshooter, although loyal to the computer, is also a mutant and therefore a danger to the Alpha Complex and a traitor, and a member of a secret society, and therefore a traitor and a danger to Alpha Complex. And what this means is everyone has secrets, everyone has their own agenda, and they're generally against each other, and it really enforces the whole idea of playing against each other whilst playing the game, whilst trying to survive against the computer whose logic defies logic. And it says, interesting thing is, essentially what we've got here, we've got the basic game concepts with an example of play, and then it has a note for experienced players. 3 main features distinguish Paranoia from other familiar role-playing games. The tone. Paranoia is designed for humorous and farcical side of dramatic action-adventure. Other games tend to be more melodramatic, often to the point where the fun is neglected. Translation. Paranoia is fun. Other games are not. Play Paranoia. The dramatic conflict. The conflicts in Paranoia will be as much with the other player characters as with the game master's plotted obstacles. There is no more perilous threat than that represented by another hostile player character. Translation. If you think surviving a game master is difficult, try surviving player characters. Player character mortality. Anxiety about player character death is often a major block to fun in role-playing games. The trauma of losing an imaginative alter ego, the destruction of a work of art, the personality of the player character, representing an investment of time, imagination and spirit, and the inconvenience of having to roll up a new character and build a personality from scratch. These are all good reasons for being anxious about player character death. In Paranoia, you get 6 identical copies of each character you create. When his one killed, his clone steps in almost immediately. Further, Paranoia's absurdist setting emphasises that Paranoia is just a fun game, a chance to be playful, as well as adventurous and heroic. Player characters should die like flies in Paranoia. Being a troubleshoot is very exciting. Many troubleshooters die of overexcitement. Won't this be different from other adventures? Won't this be fun? The computer says so, and everyone trusts the computer. So you get the tone and feel for it. So we get onto character creation. And I have to be honest, that I've always felt through the different iterations of Paranoia, whether that's it went to a second edition and then got a hardback edition. It never got a third edition. I think the third edition is supposed to be the fabled non-edition. We have the Paranoia XP, and from Mongoose Publishing. And also the more recent version from Mongoose Publishing, which has turned it into more of sort of like a directly more confrontational story game. And there's a degree of collaboration in there as you design each other, help design each other's characters, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, I always thought this kind of felt a little bit more complex than it necessarily should for what it was doing. So if in terms of story tone and tone, it was kind of ahead of its time, or completely in fitting with its time, 1984 being, let's see, was it 1984? Yes, 1984. 1984 being the signature year, of course, as predicted by Orwell's eponymous novel. It felt, it still felt ahead of its time. And then we've got essentially a guide to etiquette and everything, with these constant notes from the face of the computer, the screen, which is very early Mac style computers at the time, and adds to that sort of like sort of survival feel of of a 50s B movie or science fiction movie. And then so essentially we get into a bit of guidance before we have an actual proper full solitaire adventure. Where are we? There we go. Yeah, so full solitaire adventure, quite compact, almost war game like in its density. So yeah, and we have charts and so on at the end for creating characters, and then we have a guide to the Paranoia skill traits. Again, just overly, perhaps I would suggest, a little bit complex for what the game was really all about. And then we get into the Game Master book, and this is Security Clearance Ultraviolet. Warning: knowledge or possession of the contents by any citizen of Security Clearance Violet or lower constitutes treason, is punishable by summary execution. Here we go. Matches the shirt. Almost. So this explains it for the Game Master. So we've got a bit of a history and explanation to the game setting, so ignorance of fear, what life is like in Alpha Complex, the various groups that you can belong to, because you can belong to different service groups. So you do basically, as an ordinary clone, you worked for for a service group before you became a troubleshooter, but you are still beholden to that service group. Then you have the explanation of the security clearances, and the role of the troubleshooters and who the high programmers are, and they're the ones in charge. They're the ones who hold ultraviolet clearance. And we have more explanation of the rules and skills. So really just going over reiteration, sort of like a lot of the content from the core rule book, from the player's book, but for the benefit of the game master. We've still got it's fantastic artwork, all from Jim Holloway. I mean, it's solely illustrated by him, and it's really good artwork. And what's really kind of fantastic is, if I'll just show you something that's quite clever, is see, there's the cover. Okay, so you've got the scene with the troubleshooters, and they've sort of got this commander on the screen, and then we cut through to this, and we have essentially red vulture security troopers, sort of like aiming their weapons at the screen, and then there's the troubleshooters here are being watched on this screen, and then on this one we have adventure. We actually have a command center with the vulture security troopers reporting back to command. So that's a nice touch. So yeah, I mean, this is an event. These are adventures where essentially the troubleshooters are so generally incompetent or rubbish, or semi-competently, that they can be beaten up by a service bot. And then what have we got? And then we've got a guide to combat, because likely combat will ensue. Basically, lots of different weapons. But ultimately, most of the weapons you're not cleared for, but do keep your laser handy, troubleshooter. And then we have a guidance to the execution of traitors. Very useful advice, because there will be lots of traitors and lots of executions. And then mutant powers, because every troubleshooter is a mutant. As the computer warns, beware, traitors are everywhere. And then section on secret societies, because every troubleshooter is also a member of the secret society. And some of these do obviously feel very almost a bit like hodgepodge of secret societies you're already aware of. Computer freaks, communists, Scions, First Church of Christ computer programmer, mystics, and so on. Anti-mutants, so you can actually be a mutant and and a member of the Anti-Mutant Society. Free Enterprise, of course, the Illuminati, the Sierra Club, and they're interested in outside, whatever outside it is. And then we have a section on game mastering, Paranoia, and the advice series. First off, advice series: no more Mr. Nice Guy. That's the other thing in Paranoia, is that the game master is not your friend under no circumstances. So advice on running adventures, and he has a section on rerunning adventures, because player character groups die because they're executed and they're idiots, and they're traitors. So of course, yeah, another map of that skill tree. Too many skills, I say. Too many skills. And then finally, we have the adventure booklet, and again, still has an ultraviolet security clearance warning, and I really wouldn't show this. I shouldn't show this to you. And I'm now being joined by the cat, who is not out. He's come back for his morning perambulations. Once this video is over, you will be receiving a report a command from the computer to report to your nearest termination center. I'll be following you. So yeah, here we have essentially a nice solid adventure to get the player character started, and this actually covers a bit more. So you've got a guide to vehicles. Sorry, he does want a fuss because he's not had one since last night. So you've got rules for weapons, vehicular weapons. So this is a bit more of an expansion as well as an adventure. And then you've got destination, CBI sector, a Paranoia adventure itself. So yeah, this everything in here you need to get started and play through. And remember, rumours of treason, please report to your nearest termination centre. Oh, yeah, sorry. Hello, yes. Not sure where he's going now. So yeah, I'm not going to share all the details of the adventure with you, but then essentially we've got at the end sort of like a section on charts and so on, and more, just to help you run the game. So yeah, this is a bit more than an adventure. It's a bit more. You've got an adventure and support and so on, and you've got a map of a cross section of CBI sector, and then individual locations within the sector itself. So that is the Paranoia box set from 1984, which itself has been supported with numerous scenarios over the years, which revealed more about the setting, more about our side, more about other complexes other than Alpha Complex, even crossovers with other genres, more or less with other sort of like role-playing games as well over the years. So something like this is fairly difficult to locate, but you can get a more recent version and support for that. But this, as I say, stay alert, trust no one, keep your laser handy, because this is still such a groundbreaking game in its adversarial style of play and its satirical tone. And you can, whether or not you could play this as a campaign game is debatable, but for one-shots it's fantastic fun. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend this, and I'm looking forward to giving it a proper review soon. So in the meantime, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box and a book or game which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. And occasionally a cat that is not ours, then please do hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.